Hi, good people. This is Deborah. This is one of them subjects that I've talked about before, but just in a different way. Uh, Let me read the disclaimer. All information provided on this channel is for educational purposes only, and this channel does not promote or encourage misuse of the information. Take what resonates with you, and what does not resonate, put it on the shelf or throw it away. Now, like I say, this is similar to what I've spoken about previously. Um, One video that I did was called Shadow Work, which was about confronting your demons. And also, I did a video on childhood experiences, which turns into an adult insecure adult if it was negative. So this is kind of on the line of that stuff. This is being in the victim mode. There are a series of things that happen that cause the victim mode. One of them is childhood traumas like abuse, sexual neglect, witnessing domestic violence between your mother and her man or your father, drugs, her on drugs, him on drugs, um, instrumental parentification, which is where the children take on the task of being the parent and managing the household, chores, cooking, and taking care of your younger siblings. Emotional burden based on the parents' activities. Children might experience stress, anxiety, or a sense of inadequacy because they are carrying burdens beyond their developmental stage. Caretaking roles. In extreme cases, children may be expected to take on a significant caregiving role, such as looking after ill parents or older family members or managing the household needs. Also, some children experience being mocked in school by other children. I shared with you in a video some time ago when I was a child, I tried to commit suicide. I wasn't even six. And I kept throwing matches on myself, trying to get my clothes to catch a fire. And finally, it did. And I didn't know why I was trying to kill myself. I just know I didn't want to be here. Uh, so I wound up getting third-degree burns, and I stayed in the hospital for a very long time because I had to be skin grafted. Actually, the burns was on my stomach and my arm, and they had the skin graft the skin from my thighs. Um, So when I went to school, I was picked on. I was called burnt up this and burnt up that by different, mostly guys, not so much females, but mostly guys. I try to share all my experiences with you guys. And the reason being, because I want you to know that I've been through a lot of stuff too. And the only way you're gonna heal from that stuff, you have to confront your, I say sometimes your demons, and I'll get into why I say confronting your demons. Now, as an adult, what are some of the problems that come from childhood now adult? What are some of the things that happen to a person's mind when they adapt a victim mode, a state of mind where they perceive themselves as constantly being a victim, victimized and housed it? Have you been in that position? I certainly have. Um, I just explained one of them to you. Uh, 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 where I got picked on and I was called names because of my scars on my thighs. My mother would always buy me dresses that went above the scars that I've had. that I have on my thighs. Okay, the other thing I remember, when I had to go through a divorce, my ex husband kept telling me, "I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to divorce," because he was messing with this female that he worked with, and he was trying to act like he wasn't. I mean, he was bold enough to ask me to meet him for lunch, and so she wanted to meet me, and he introduced me. Can you believe this? He introduced me to somebody that he was having sex with. He think I didn't know it. I knew it. It's just that I was having problems with my older son, so I really didn't care, to be honest with you. Uh, but I used to smell her on him, and I also used to dream about her, so I know he was having sex with her. But the thing of it is, he kept saying he was going to divorce me, so I went on ahead and gave him the privilege, and I went on ahead and got the divorce for him. And then I was not working at the time, so I didn't have a job. I was driving the better car. We had two cars, and so he I had to leave him, and I really didn't have nowhere to go. But I wound up going to my mother's house. That was not a good place to go to. My mother and her children treated him like he was the brother and I was the sister. So the what happened, everybody turned against me. And so I became the victim, is my point. So I didn't have a job. I got a divorce. Um, my children had to stay with him because I didn't have no place to go, to stay, to bring them with me. Um, what else? So I became the victim. And so when became the victim, I didn't want to have conversation with nobody. And so I finally got this job working at the subsidiary of IBM. And I didn't talk to people. And my conversation was about um, him and our situation whenever I did have conversation. Because I didn't want to talk about nothing else because I was hurting. And the place that I was working at, he knew the guy. The guy, he was from Trinidad, and the guy he knew was from Jamaica. And it's funny, every time he would call up there, the guy from Jamaica would make sure I knew he was talking to him. And so what happened, the guy started trying to, we worked in a, I was actually a receptionist, but uh I needed to be busy because I was had all that going on, so I need to stay busy. So I volunteered to do other work besides answer the phone. I answered the phone, plus I learned how to use the copiers, the big industrial copiers, and I perfected. So what he did, the Jamaican guy, he told the big boss that I was messing up jobs. So he was sabotaging me, is what he was doing. So I got all that while I was going through what I was going through, uh, and so he sabotaged me. So what happened? It flipped on him, the Jamaican guy. Um, he started messing up stuff, and then one day, one of the machines, nobody could work. It was a four machine. Nobody could work it but me. And then he tried to work the four machine. It just kept on jamming on him. It never jammed on me. So I had to show him how to do it so could do fours without jamming. So I was at a club one night, at this club called 20 Grand, after a period of time of all that, because he almost got fired because he was trying to get me fired. So what he did, he came over. I didn't. It was dark in there, and I wouldn't have seen him, but he saw me, and he came over, and he apologized to me for trying to get me fired, and But what he did, he was trying to do what did to me based off what my ex husband was telling him. Don't ever do that, people. But anyway, so all that insecurity I was having, I started going to church. No, I couldn't find no rest. I didn't sleep at night. None of that stuff. I was just being tormented. And so I think I started getting a relief after about 3 years. And then I realized that I needed to start doing something about it. So that's when I took residency on Facebook, and I started actually journaling, and then I started doing posts about things that was going on with me on Facebook. I created a group and talked about it, and that helped me a whole lot. And then, of course, years later, well, 7 years later, well, no, about 10 years later, I got on YouTube. But anyway, so that was the second thing uh, that went on in my life. The third thing is I finally got out of victim mode. It took me a while to come out of victim mode. It took me some years because I wasn't talking to nobody. I just stayed quiet, but I was like the woe is me kind of a person. And some people do handle their hurt and pain differently. I didn't attack people. The only person that I attacked was him, my ex husband. And we were doing ugly things back and forward to each other. Him and I both was. And it's funny, I have done things to show him that I was sorrowful for what I did to him, and he haven't done that with me. But it's all good. I'm good. He don't have to. So now, projection of feeling is a psychological defense mechanism in which individuals attribute their undesirable emotions, thoughts, or behavior to others. Instead of acknowledging their feelings in themselves, they project them onto someone else. This allows them to avoid confronting uncomfortable aspects of their psyche. Now, I just told you what I did, and it worked for me. Examples of projection: accusing others of being angry when it's actually you. A person who feels deep seated anger might accuse others of being angry or hostile toward them, even when that is not true. Blaming others for their failures. Someone who feels insecure about their abilities might constantly criticize or blame others for their mistake or shortcomings. Now, assuming others are judging them, they do that too. I'm telling you these things because I've experienced it with other people. And an individual who feels insecure about their appearance might project their insecurities by assuming others are constantly judging them. You know, like a person that may be overweighted, a person that might not be so attracted. You know, they have these made up things in their mind thinking people are judging them and they're not. Those are the insecurity is something else. Uh, Interpersonal conflict. Projection can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts in relationships. For example, accusing a partner of being untrustworthy when the accuser has trust issues can create tension and strain in the relationship. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of that. Distorted perception. People projecting their feelings may develop a distorted view of reality. They might believe others behave in ways that reflect their internal issues, leading to misguided responses and interaction. Avoidance of personal issues. Individuals avoid dealing with their emotion problems by projecting their issues on others. This can prevent personal growth and a resolution of underlying problems. For real, people, for real, it's for real. There's some real stuff going on out here in these streets. Reduce self awareness. Regular projection can hinder self awareness and self understanding, as individuals may only partially confront or address their feelings and motivations. Now, relationship strain. Constant projecting can erode trust and intimacy in relationships. When others are unjustly blamed or criticized, they can lead to resentment or distance. Emotional displacement. Projection can cause individuals to misplace their emotion responses, resulting in an inappropriate, a disappropriate uh, reaction to others' behavior. Now, being in a victim mentality can sometimes lead individuals to accuse others of jealousy, though this is not always true. I'm going to give you a few of them. Deflecting responsibility, avoid accountability. Accusing others of jealousy can be a way of deflect attention from their issues of shortcomings. It can shift the focus away from their actions and behavior and place it on perceived faults in others. Perceptive of a threat. For someone who's strongly identified as a victim, perceived criticism or lack of support from others might be interpreted as jealousy or hostility. This perception can be defense mechanism to protect their self-image and victim uh, identity. I know several people right now. Every time you turn around, whenever there's a conflict or a problem that takes place in their life, the first thing they want to say is somebody's jealous of them. Someone is not always jealous of you. You need to check that. That's important to check. Difficulty in accepting criticism. Sensitive to criticism. Individuals with a victim mentality might struggle to accept constructive criticism or feedback. They might interpret such feedback as jealousy or malice rather than as helpful input. That's what they'll say. They'll say that person said that I was this and I was that, and I'm not this and I'm not that. They just jealous of me. I know you don't heard that song. I've heard that many times. And I look at these people like, you need to stop. Amplification of negative emotions, exaggerated reactions. The emotional intensity associated with feeling victimized can lead to heightened and sometimes irrational responses to other actions. Accusing accusations of jealousy might be one manifestation of these amplified emotion. Strained relationship, conflict in relationship, strain accusing others as creating an atmosphere of mistrust and conflict. If a person feels isolated or misunderstood, this can further reinforce their sense of victimhood. Seeking validation. I know you know these folks. Need for validation. Some individuals seek validation or support by accusing others of jealousy, by portraying themselves as victim of jealousy. They may be trying to elicit sympathy or reinforce the victim narrative. Addressing projection. Recognizing and addressing projection involves increasing self awareness and emotion intelligence. Therapy, mindfulness, and self reflection can help individuals being understand their emotions and motivations, and reduce the tendency to project them on others. Self help techniques. I gave you two of mine. Um, I do walking sometimes when I can. Journaling. I told you that I do that every day. Writing about your thoughts, feelings, experiences can help your process emotions, gain insight, and track patterns in your behavior. Self-help books. Some self-help books helps people, and I'm talking about books that psychologists write. Uh, People that like to read books, that probably help them. Uh, it didn't help me because I'm not really. I like to help myself. Online courses or workshop. Sometimes getting into workshops and if you building yourself a platform, YouTube is a good way to help yourself. You can do videos like I do and express your feelings on there. Don't worry about uh, it being embarrassing. Guess what? When you tell your story, somebody else that's shy like you may be afraid to tell their story. And then by you telling your story, that's going to help them maybe possibly go and tell their story. We all don't have some situations as children, as adults, um, that cause us to have been in victim stage. And not this is not just for women. Men have been in victim stage too. You got the support groups out there. They out there. You just have to search for them. Uh, I have been in a support group. That's pretty cool. People share their experiences and stuff. I always been interested in what other people have to say about their lives. I always have been, and still is. Uh, Different behavior techniques, learning, practicing the CBT techniques alone can be helpful. Exercise and physical activity can be helpful, even with your mood, and it reduce anxiety as well. Walking, going to the your center, your community center, where they have exercise equipment, that helps. Um, Setting goals. If you like to write, maybe uh, writing little short books, that would be helpful. Just finding activity that will take your time so you can release. You need to be able to release because it's important to address your issues. That's very important because a lot of people, the reason why so many people are insecure based because of things that have happened in their lives is because they didn't take the time to release. You got to release. I found out, and I promise you, people, I am so happy now, and I'm still going through probably releasing things, but now I'm seeing the beautiful Deborah that I always knew I was. But I had so many layers and layers and layers of stuff from childhood experiences, some adult experiences, some things I don't understand about adults, and I don't understand why they can't just be good and not do some of the things like jealousy, envy, and strife and lie on people. I just didn't understand all that stuff for a period of time, and I was beating myself up with it because of that. I'm in a much better place now. Uh, One thing I've learned about so-called black people, I don't call myself black, but you don't like to go and see a therapist. It's nothing wrong with going to see a therapist. Albions do it all the time. I'm not saying you have to go see a therapist because they go and see a therapist. The one thing about going to see a therapist, I did some years ago. One thing when my son, when I was having real problems with my oldest son, one thing about a therapist is not going to tell you how to live your life. The therapist is going to sit and listen to your story because that's what you need. Keep in mind, people that you call your friends, people that you call your relatives, they don't want to hear your story over and over and over. And then what happens is they listen to your stories till they get tired of listening to your story, and then they start saying real ugly things to you. You don't want that to happen to you because your situation is real. What you're going through is real, and you want to talk to someone that some people because they have a situation. You That's not going to happen with you going to see a therapist. You can go and tell your therapist the same stuff over and over and over and over. It's okay. They're going to listen to it. Some of them will give you advice, but most of them don't. But one thing I do know and have seen, those that you think are your friends, those that you think are your family members and love you, they will say some ugly stuff to you, and they will talk about you behind your back, and that's what they do. And you know, and that's how it works. So let me just tell you, staying a victim can have several psychological and emotional effects on you. It Persistent negative thinking is what happens with the person. I met some people. They were negative when they were young, and they stayed negative. I know one person right now. He was negative for years, and he's 70 something years old, and he's still negative. Okay, why? Because he did not deal with his childhood experiences. He may say something to a little bit to let you know he had childhood experience, but you got to deal with those things. You don't want to get in your 70s and try to deal with childhood experience, adult experience, because you're not going to enjoy yourself. You're gonna constantly be trying to get layers and layers of that stuff off, and before you know it, you're gone. You don't left the earth. So that's why I constantly come to you guys, and you say, well, she always doing that. She always saying that. I know a lot of people just don't gravitate to these type of videos, but because I keep it real. I keep it real for Deborah, and I'm gonna keep it real when I put the videos out here. And those that keep it real will gravitate to the video, and I know that, and I'm not worried about it. But you really need to focus on being happy. You can only be happy when you come out of victim mode. Um, Reduce sense of control, believing that the internal forces or other people are responsible for your suffering. Uh, that's a no, but that's what happens. Um, Increase anxiety and depression. And when people tend not to listen to you or don't want to be bothered with you, then you got negative things to say about them. They don't have to listen to you, and they don't have to be bothered with you. But what happens is you instead of you thinking about what the real problem is, then that gives you an opportunity to attack the person that no longer want to listen to you, and that ain't cool. You have difficulties in relationship because you had a bad experience with the woman previously or a man previously, and then you didn't resolve those issues. Well, that issue goes straight into the new relationship, and you find yourself without somebody constantly, and that's what happened. Relationship after relationship, it just ain't working for you, and it's not working because you have not resolved that issue from that first relationship that you had. You have allowed it to increase, and now it's negative, and you become the reflector. No, projector. You become the projector. Uh, you become an impaired problem solving person. You don't know how to solve problems uh, because you're constantly viewing yourself as a victim. You can't fix any of your problems, and you're focusing on the problem rather than the solution. So that's what I see. The low self esteem gets worse. It just gets worse and worse and worse. I've seen a whole bunch of that. Uh, then you become resistant to change. Being in victim mode lead to um, a real serious problem, uh, and this resistance can prevent personal growth, improvement in various area of your life. Neglect or personal growth. When focused on victimhood, individual might neglect opportunity for personal development and self-improvement, missing out on ways to enhance the well-being resilience. Uh, Traumatic experience. Experience events such as abuse, assault, or significant loss can lead individuals to feel victimized. Trauma can affect how a person perceives themselves and their circumstances. Injustice or discrimination that affects people. Injustice is uh, mistaken identity. You get locked up, and they treat you like you were actually uh, uh, a person of criminal, and you just can't get over it. So that's called facing unfair treatment and discrimination based on race, gender, uh, sexuality, disability, or other personal characteristics can contribute to a sense of victimhood. Um, Chronic bullying. Bullying just don't come from children. You got grown adults that bully other. Those are the people that wants to dominate you. That's called bullying, and they don't. I don't think they realize that that's what they being a bully. Those are the people they're bullying and they harass you. Uh, I know somebody right now getting bullied and harassed on his job because the lady don't like him. She had went to the extreme trying to get this guy fired, and she actually what she did, she actually uh uh signed his signature and to try to get this guy fired. And she was confronted by the boss, and she had to admit that she did forge his signature, but he didn't fire her. You know why he didn't fire her? Because he does not want to pay unemployment, and because he doesn't want to pay unemployment, he did not fire her, and so that female continued to harass this guy. And I pretty much told him to go down to EEOC, uh, because a lot of people don't know that they have EEOC available to them. Yeah, go to EEOC, and he actually recorded her ass uh, saying that she falsified her boss signature, so she's going to get her ass in trouble. Okay, and she's an older person. She's old like me, and she ought to be ashamed of herself. I don't like people that bully people. I really got a problem with that. Neglect or abuse. Growing up in an environment where emotional needs are unmet, where there's neglect or emotional abuse, can shape a personal sense of self and contribute to the victim mentality. Trust me, it does. Uh, Financial or social hardship. Experience significant financial difficulties and social disadvantagement can lead to feelings of victimhood, especially if these challenges are beyond your control. Trust me, you've been that way when you lost your job and maybe got put out your place, and maybe couldn't go stay with nobody. Oh, it just, I had all that unresolved grief of loss. Mama died, daddy died, husband died. I've seen where this lady, her son passed, and she was the son that stayed behind. She didn't give him no attention because she was so grieving the son that passed, and that was horrible. So what, you know what happened? The son that was left behind wound up getting cancer, and before he got cancer and passed away, he had a son. And so she wound up having to be there for the son. Ain't that something? Uh, but mamas, daddies, pay attention to that, because the one that matters is the one that's left behind. See, I used to go to funerals. I didn't go to funerals because the person that was laying in that coffin. I went to funerals because I wanted to be a support to the ones that was left behind. And see, personally, I think people go to funerals for the wrong reason. My son has a friend that is, I told y'all before in a video, he does bodies. And the stuff that he tells me family go through and take other family members through, uh, there are families that come that hadn't seen that person in 10 or 15 years, and they come in that funeral home raising hell, a hot mess. But anyway, poor relationship dynamics, a relationship in which a partner consistently dominates, control, and manipulates the other, uh, can create a victim mentality in the control partner situation. Trust me, that person becomes a victim. Get out of it. Don't stay in it. Get the crap up out of it. Okay, so a lack of support or resources, feeling isolated or without adequate support system can amplify feelings of victimhood, especially if individuals perceive themselves as having few options for help or relief. And there are people that have been put in those positions that may have problems with their bodies and stuff, and going to the hospitals, and they can't get treated because the hospital won't will reject them. Let me tell you something. Mental health is serious, people, and we all don't have some mental health issues. Don't get it twisted. Even those that you consider uh, to be uh, got it all together. You consider them to have it all got it all together. Even they have issues. Don't get it twisted. I know a person, a profession that was seeing my son as a psychiatrist, but that person had to snort some coke before she came into the office. Yes, but sadly, because she had it right there at the tip of her nose. Uh, Let me just say this: it is essential to approach discussions about victimhood with empathy. This is for people that's trying to be helpful and understanding, recognizing that everyone's experiences are unique and influenced by a range of personal, social, and psychological factors. Understanding these dynamics can help navigate and address accusations of jealousy compassionately and constructively. Supporting someone who is struggling with a victim mentality involves a combination of empathy, practical help, and encouragement for personal growth. Your support present can make a significant difference in their journey toward healing and empowerment. Now, if you like me, if I spend time with you for a period of time and I see that you're not trying to do anything about it, you just want me to listen to your story. I'm a human being too, and I can only listen to your story, and I don't see that you're trying to make your situation better. I'm going to disappear. because I have to protect me. It is crucial to recognize that feeling like a victim can be a response to natural and challenging situations. It is not a sign of weakness, but a natural human response. However, it is equally important to address these feelings by seeking support, development coping strategies, and working toward empowerment and healing. All valid and necessary steps in this process. Overcoming victim mentality is a journey of empowerment. It involves shifting focus from past harms to current possibilities, developing coping strategies, and actively working toward personal empowerment and growth. This process can be challenged, but it is also a path toward a more fulfilling and resilient life. Now, if you are not uh, acting as a victim, but want to support those who are, there are several ways to help. Listen to the empathy. Listen to them with empathy. Offer listening ears. Sometimes people need to just be heard. Listen without judgment. They don't want your opinion. They're not looking for your opinion. They just want you to listen to them. Uh, Now, when they ask you what should you do, then you offer your solution. Validate their feelings and experience. Show how empathetic you are. Show the compassion. Acknowledge their struggles and their emotions. Uh, if you can, if they ask you for your help, encourage them to go seek professional help. Encourage them also that it's okay to seek professional help. That's something that a lot of Black people don't do, but it's time for you to start doing it because those professional people will listen. You don't have to accept the medication that they may prescribe. You just don't. But you want somebody to sit and listen to you. Um, and then when they got better, celebrate their progress and their efforts, no matter how small it is. Especially if it's your friend, especially if it's relatives. Celebrate their efforts to work on trying to become a better person. Because some people would never acknowledge those the victim mode that they're in. They'll never acknowledge it. So always demonstrate resilience. Show how you constructively handle challenges and setbacks. Your behavior can serve as a possible positive example. Maintain a positive and proactive attitude. Sometimes inspiring and uplifting others is such a wonderful thing. I know because I do it. Uh, if they are overwhelmed, offer practical help such as running errands, helping with chores, and providing logistical support. Be a source of stability. Offer consistent support and reassurance, helping them feel less isolated and more grounded. Encourage healthy boundaries. Um, to establish healthy boundaries in relationships and situations. Respect their boundaries and help them understand their importance. Show students how to interact respectfully and assertively. Now, that's important too. Highlight their strength. Help them recognize their capacities and strength. uh, a sense of self efficiency. Respect their journey. Be patient with them. Understand that change takes time. Trust me, it takes time. Avoid pushing them to get over it. That's one thing I can't stand when people say get over it. If they hurt you and they want to come back in your life and you have not seen them in 10 years and you bring that up because you still are suffering from them 10 years of their hurt, sometimes. And then you tell them, they'll say, oh, that happened so long ago. Don't tell people that. All you have to do is just say to them, I'm sorry. I do. I'm sorry. Don't even sit up there and say I didn't mean to do it. You meant to do it. That's why you did it. So just say I'm sorry. Respect their pace. Everyone moves through their recovery or growth process at their pace. Educate yourself. Learn more about specific struggles and experience uh, to better understand the point of view and provide informed support. Stay informed. Keep up with resources and strategies to supporting mental health. It all is mental health. Um, and we all go through periods of it. Fortunate for me, I was able to find methods that works for Deborah. And I promise you, at 67 years old, I am so much better. 100, well, 98% better. I'm waiting on that 2%. But I do. I feel really good inside. So I just want to come on and share that with you people. Take care, people. Until the next time I see you, take care.